Vibe coding has opened the door for many entrepreneurs like you to build real working web apps, but if you don't approach it the right way, things can get messy fast. I mean, I've been there, staring at a computer screen and wondering why my website doesn't look like it's winning awards yet. So today I'm going to give you some vibe coding basics, from prompting effectively to debugging errors that I wish I'd known when I first started out. Plus, I'll show you how to approach vibe coding the right way, so you can solve a problem for yourself, build a tool that others can use, or even start making money by selling your own. Let's get into it. Vibe coding was one of the biggest AI breakthroughs of 2025. Instead of writing code line by line, you can now simply describe what you want in plain English and AI generates the code for a working product. Now, when I started vibe coding, I thought I could just type a couple of sentences and get the perfect app. Yeah, as if. Obviously, that didn't happen, so I had to figure it out all on my own. The truth is, vibe coding isn't magic, but a skill. One of the main reasons vibe coding projects fail is because we don't give AI enough information. Vibe coding lets you skip writing code, but it doesn't mean you can skip thinking about what you actually want to build. I've learned this the hard way. I've wasted hours on half-finished projects because I was lazy with my instructions. And after a lot of trial and error, I came up with a simple template that I always follow, and it works every time.
It works every time.
In traditional software development, this kind of plan is called a Product Requirements Document, or PRD for short. Now, fancy term aside, it's really just a document that outlines what you want to build and why it matters. Think of it as a roadmap for the AI, just like these PRDs right here. As a solo entrepreneur, you don't need to become a developer, but your PRD should answer these 6 questions to make sure your idea can be coded effectively. 1. What problem does your product solve? A real problem isn't we need this feature, it's the pain users feel when the feature doesn't exist. For example, new parents who want sustainable products for their baby because they might have heard they're better, but they can't really find those products easily anywhere else. 2. How are people solving this problem today? Innovation nowadays is rare, so check if there are existing tools solving this problem and identify what real pain points are and what existing solutions are missing. For sustainability-focused parents problem, maybe there are organic supermarkets or subscription boxes, but they aren't as eco-friendly as they promise. 3. Who is this product for? Define your target users and what they're trying to accomplish. Are they newly parents, like in our example? Corporate professionals? Creators looking for automation? Knowing this will shape everything you build. 4. What's your solution? This is your elevator pitch. It basically translates into a short explanation of what the product does and the 2 or 3 key benefits users get from it. For example, a vibe-coded subscription box startup that automatically curates eco-friendly products for new parents. And finally, what's the minimum version of the product? Here, you'll focus on the key set of features someone needs to start using it. Maybe that's a sign-up page, a way to collect preferences, and a simple delivery system. Anything extra like premium add-ons can really come later. Anything else like design ideas, technical notes, pricing, or go-to market plans can live in an appendix. These are also super important, but you want to keep them separate so the vibe coding tool can focus on understanding the goal of your project, not the visuals or technicalities. To make things easier for you, I've left a few PRD templates and examples in the description. But if you need help with something specific, write me a comment below. If you follow the structure I've just given you, I can promise you your product plan will stay focused on the user, and that alone will save you hours of prompting frustration. And you don't need to write everything yourself. You can jot down rough notes, feed them into ChatGPT or another AI chatbot, and let it turn them into a clean PRD you can paste straight into your vibe coding tool. This is why knowing how to talk to AI is super important. It's really the foundation of every vibe coding project, especially if you're writing solo. Most aspiring entrepreneurs think prompting is about finding the perfect sentence that makes AI read their mind. I used to think that too, but in reality, it's just about giving structured instructions. A simple way to think about that is using 4 elements: persona, task, context, and format. Tell the AI who it should act as, what you want it to do, the background or constraints it should know, and how you want the output structured. That's it. If you consistently include these 4 things in your prompts, the quality of the results will improve dramatically. If you want to dive deeper into prompt engineering, we have a great video right here. Now, if you've done vibe coding before, you've probably noticed that most apps end up looking like a middle schooler's first WordPress site. Honestly, we've all been there, right? This happens because there's no design direction. So AI defaults to bland and cramped layouts with no visual meaning. To fix this, you just need to understand 3 basics: the layout, hierarchy, and clarity. The design layout is all about structure. Think of AI like a man. You have to tell it, and us, exactly where things go. So break your design into sections. The header goes on top, the main content sits in the middle, with some breathing room of course, and the footer stays at the bottom. It sounds obvious, but it's really easy to forget. If you're making a form, for example, don't cram everything into one long column. Break it into clear sections like personal info, shipping, and payment. Even if you're running the tiny subscription box startup, this simple tweak makes your site feel like you actually know what you're doing. Hierarchy means not everything is equally important in the design. Your headline should jump off the page and your CTA button should scream, "Click me!" So get specific when you prompt. Something like, make the headline twice the size of the body text, make the CTA button green, and center it. Trust me when I say, you want to be specific with your prompts. Most vibe coding tools run on tokens. So if you're vague, you'll burn through them fast and end up paying way more than you need to. And finally, clarity. This comes down to labeling buttons clearly and telling people exactly what you need and why. Like, enter your email to get notified about our monthly products. Be precise with components and choose modern structures like bento box grids, card-based layouts, or split screens. Remember, AI will give you functioning code, but if you don't guide the design, it won't wow anyone. I know what some of you might be thinking. Wait, this is a lot more work than I expected. I thought I could just tell AI to build me an app and be done with it. I wish it worked like that too. But if you actually want to build something people use or turn it into a business even, this part is non-negotiable. It's also the point where most people give up. You won't though, because once you put in a bit of structure up front, everything else becomes way easier. And when your app finally starts looking and feeling like a real product, trust me, you'll love it too much to quit. Now that you know the key design principles, here at Hostinger, we built our own vibe coding tool, and we put together a step-by-step tutorial to help you get started. So make sure to check it out. Something that I've come across a lot with vibe coding is what happens when the web app breaks. When a button stops working, a form doesn't submit, or a page won't load, and suddenly your app feels like it's mocking you. Well, the first thing you do is take a deep breath and don't panic.
Oh, DD, oh!
Seriously, don't hit the nuclear button and wipe half of your project out of frustration. Stay calm.
Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone?
Debugging in vibe coding is really just figuring out what went wrong as you go. Instead of waiting until the whole web app is built and suddenly, whoops, realizing nothing works, my 2 cents is to break the project into smaller pieces and build one feature at a time. Test it and then add the next one. That way, when something breaks, you know exactly what caused it. Then you can focus on identifying the type of problem you're facing. Is it a bad prompt, a tool limitation, a structural issue? Usually the tools tell you what the problem is. Once you know, focus on tackling it. A bad prompt is the easiest one. It just means you weren't clear enough. The AI built exactly what you asked for, but you probably asked for the wrong thing. In that case, refine the prompt and be more specific about what you want. Sometimes the problem is the tool itself. Maybe the platform can't do what you're asking, like integrating with an API it doesn't support. When that happens, you either find a workaround or switch tools. I know it's annoying, but it happens, right? What's helped me in the past is asking the AI to replicate the functionality instead of connecting the tool directly. For example, imagine you want your app to connect with Google Calendar so users can book appointments. Instead of using APIs, you might build a simple form where users select a time slot and you manually add it to your calendar. It's not perfect per se, but it lets you test the idea and keep moving forward. APIs and integrations are a huge subject, so let me know in the comments if you'd like me to dive dive deeper into them in another video. If the code is broken, then maybe two features are conflicting. Fixing this is actually easier than you think. You just have to ask your Vibe code tool to debug by literally copying the error message and typing something like, "This isn't working, what's wrong, and how do I fix it?" Most of the time, the fix is actually small, so you don't need to burn the whole thing down. Now, bugs aren't the only thing that will trip you up. Security is another sneaky trap because the moment your app collects something like emails, logins, or payments, you're handling other people's data. And that's where things can get messy if you're not careful. I'm not saying you need to become some cybersecurity guru overnight, but there are a few basics you can't ignore. For example, if your app collects emails or user information, you should think about data privacy and storage. Make sure you actually have a privacy policy and that the data is stored securely. Most modern vibe coding platforms handle this for you if you're using their built-in databases. But if you start connecting external services, it's worth checking what their security standards look like. Another big one is sensitive data. You should never store things like passwords or payment details in plain text. Passwords should always be hashed and payments should go through a proper processor like Stripe instead of your own database, of course. And if your app has user accounts, don't try to build your own login system from scratch. Just use something that's already battle tested, like a standard protocol or a managed platform. If this feels like a lot, I know, but the best vibe coding tools like Hosting Your Horizons take care of this automatically. That said, it still helps to ask your preferred AI chatbot directly. Something like, is this implementation secure? Or are there any vulnerabilities I should worry about? Because the last thing you want is to launch something super cool and accidentally put your users at risk. Obviously, not talking from experience here. Honestly, not thinking about security is just one of many mistakes small business owners tend to make when they start vibe coding. But there are a few others I made so that you can avoid them. The main one, as you'll have gathered by now, is starting without a clear idea. I've been there too, thinking I could just type up 2 sentences and see what pops up. But you need at least a rough idea of the problem and the solution, especially if you're actually looking to build a business, because otherwise you're just generating random apps and hoping one sticks. Another big one is trying to build everything at once. What starts as a simple idea suddenly turns into a full platform with user accounts, payments, messaging, reviews, and now the whole thing is just way more complicated than it needs to be. The better approach is to start small, build the one feature that actually matters, make sure it actually works, and only then start adding things on top. Something else I see a lot is tool hopping. Vibe coding isn't an outfit change. You really need to stop switching vibe coding tools when things get frustrating. Most of the time, the tool isn't the real problem, it's the process. So pick one platform and actually learn how it works. Now, I might be a bit biased saying this, but Hosting Your Horizons is a great choice because as you build, you get a real-time preview and you can deploy your app with one click. It even has built-in error detection that can catch and fix some issues automatically, which is really helpful when you're just getting started. It also generates the design directly from your prompt, and you can upload images or even use your voice to guide the look and feel. Now, this last mistake is probably the biggest one, treating vibe coding like it's Harry Potter's magic wand, because it's not. Vibe coding tools still need direction. You need to think through the product, guide the AI, and iterate on the result. And if you do that, I can guarantee vibe coding will open up huge opportunities. For the first time, small business owners and solo founders like you can build custom tools without a technical co-founder or a development team. You can even test ideas without spending thousands of dollars up front. So essentially, if you're a solo founder with a good idea and basic vibe coding skills, you can compete with funded startups. Even someone like me can do it. Vibe coding has grown so fast that even the world's largest tech companies are using AI to write significant portions of their code. Just look at Google and Microsoft. They're already generating 20 to 30% of their code with AI. And Jeff Bezos said AI saved Amazon the equivalent of 4,500 developer years of work. Just remember that vibe coding is only the execution layer. Everything else product related, like the strategy, positioning, and customer understanding, it's still on you. With these vibe coding basics, you now have the framework to go from a rough idea to a working product without a developer, a big budget, and burning days on trial and error. The technical barrier is gone, and what you build from here is on you. So, if you're ready to put this into practice, this next video gives you 3 real vibe coding projects you can actually build this year with a clear plan for each one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.